Hi everyone, today I want to talk to you a little bit about having confidence when you're selling. We had someone post in the group, in our paid mastermind group actually today, and she's been trying to get into the pay-per-lead market for a little while, and she's kind of, she's doing some stuff, but she's also, not compromising her retainer-based contracts. And it's taken her for a while to commit to something like this, and I think she's about to do it, which is great. But she was very concerned about over-promising and not being able to deliver. And I kind of said to her, just do it. What's the worst? You can either be conservative and promise them the number of leads you think you can get them, or you can look to push the envelope a little bit. And what happens when you do that is that maybe it forces you into taking a little bit more action or getting a little bit better. And you never know, you might learn something new. So I said, you got two options. Do what you can do, or number two, overpromise. And I said, you should overpromise and see what happens. And I think that's the way she's going. But it got me thinking about, my journey through, from working in the 9 to 5 to starting an SEO agency, to running PPC ads, search ads for clients on a retainer basis, all the way through to what we do today, and the conversations I had when I first, landed my first pay-per-lead client. And, I don't know whether it's me naturally, but I would read something and I'd come up with this idea, and I would be, blind faith. I would have blind faith. I wouldn't know what the hell I was talking about when I look back and what I was selling back then. I had no idea. I was selling, an idea that I thought might happen. And when I look back at it, I'm just like, how did I even sell that? I didn't even know what I was doing. I was maybe even giving bad advice back then, but I was so enthusiastic, and I was able to get the job done. And I think my enthusiasm showed through, and sometimes that's all that you need. So let's talk a little bit about having confidence when selling, when sometimes you don't know what you're really talking about. The first thing is, do you know what you're talking about? Okay. I bet you will look back in a few years' time and you'll go, no, I actually didn't. I've learned a lot. What we are selling here is lead generation through pay-per-click and social media and chatbots and all this stuff that everyone's talking about. Everything's so new, and we're in a special time, okay? What you think might be working now is not what's going to be working 6 months, a year, or 2 years from now. So just get your head around that. There's just so much that you can improve on and get better on, okay? But what happens when you come up with this new idea like I did a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, whenever it was, when I landed my first pay-per-lead client? I had some blind faith. I knew what our cost per lead is, and I was able to close the deal and sell a few hundred leads a week, and that changed everything for me. But when I look back then at what I was doing and the quality of leads that we were sending, and there was no segmentation, we didn't have validation on our forms, we didn't know how to distribute the leads to different departments, we didn't know how to do API integrations, and we were just sending these leads via email. And I'm like, how did this big corporation fall for that? Okay, we just didn't know what we were talking about, but they were so happy. Okay, we overpromised, and the thing is that even with the limited knowledge that I had back then, I knew way more than what that client did, okay? They had one job to do, that marketing department, and it was to generate leads for their business, all right? And they saw some, confident young Aussie guy. I wasn't that young, but I was confident, and I was able to deliver something to them that they needed at that point in time, and I was able to talk them into it. And it's a bit of a wishy-washy post today, but what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you can get away with just having confidence and getting out there and giving things a go and figuring it out along the way, i.e. trust this process. And that's what triggered this thought today when I was reading the post in the mastermind about this lady that was wanting to just keep things safe and simple. when on the other hand, I think it's best to overpromise and over deliver. And that's hard for some highly analytical people. For someone like me that's a bit more creative and is excited by this stuff, it becomes very easy. But trust the process, because you've got to get out there and put yourself in an uncomfortable position, because when you do that, you will start being creative. You'll start finding a way to figure stuff out, okay? If the client is, wanting to buy 200 leads from you and you don't even know how to deliver 100, I bet once that money hits your account, you'll figure out a way. You'll reach out to someone, you'll bump into someone in a Facebook group or whatever that will be able to give you a solution. And if you didn't have that urgency, then you would never have figured it out in the first place. So overpromise, over-deliver, be confident. That's my advice. Speak soon.